right. Happy Tech on Ice Day. I'm over here surviving the snowpocalypse, the snowmageddon in the greater Seattle area. There's a joke. There's like an eighth of an inch of snow, and school got delayed. But anyway, that's for a different conversation for a different day. I want to talk about something I came across over the weekend that I thought was pretty cool and thought it would be worth chatting about. But let's set a little bit of context first. So, we've talked a bit about running AI models like Llama or the new DeepSeek models locally using Ollama, right? And it's pretty cool because it allows you to have, chat completion, those sort of experiences running locally. So when you build apps, you don't have to worry about rate limiting or anything like that. Plus, you get to kind of control a little bit more of the model experience. And that's pretty cool. We've also talked about like agentic work, where you give a model a task and it goes off and does that task, and that task can involve multiple steps and planning and all these sort of things. And I came across something over the weekend which I thought was pretty cool. It's a new tool called Goose. It's from the folks at Block. And I've had the fortune to speak to Angie and Rizal from Block on my podcast. So Coffee and Open Source, if you haven't seen that, go check them out because they're awesome folks. But basically what Goose is, it's an open source agent that runs on your computer. And it's pretty cool because you can point it at different LLM providers. You can point it at Gemini, you can point it at Anthropic, you can point it at OpenAI, so on and so forth. But you can also point it at Llama or Ollama hosting locally. So you have DeepSeek or Ollama or Mistral or Phi or whatever running locally. You can then point this agent, which is also open source running locally, at that model, which I think is pretty cool. So what is it actually? So think about it like this. It's for developer productivity. So there's two kind of entry points to it. There's a desktop app. Currently it's only for Mac OS. I'd imagine they're probably going to build a Windows version at some point. Cross your fingers. But there's also a CLI tool. And it's pretty cool because you configure it to point it at your model, and then there are different extensions that come with this agent. Being able to point it at websites, being able to point it at GitHub, doing different things to kind of automate miscellaneous steps. I saw an example on their website that's create a PR that does this and then make these changes, and it would do all those things. You can also use it to kind of bootstrap building apps. So from the command line, hey, I want to build an app that is this, and this. You give it the requirements, then it'll actually build all out of the files, and it'll build the folder structure and all of that. Which, this is all really, really cool stuff because it's all running locally and it's open source. So I think it's pretty cool. And this is like the first iteration of this. I'd imagine that we're going to see more and more like these sort of experiences. We've already talked about agents, but they're typically running in the cloud via some LLM provider like Operator or some of the other tools. I can't think of the names off the top of my head. But this is very much like running them locally. So you kind of, again, it's about having control over the experience. And since it's open source, you can build extensions for it. Maybe you want to build an extension for a particular thing that you're doing, and you can script out all the things that it does. I kind of think of like auto hotkey, where it's like, you program some things that go, when you press a hotkey, it does a handful of things, right? Or in the Windows side, there's like Power Automate, which is something that runs on Windows that you can, I don't even know if it's called Power Automate anymore, but anyway. So like that's a pretty cool thing. And I just wanted to, shout out, give these folks their flowers because it just came out. So, if you just do a search for Goose, I'll be sure to link out to the folks when I post this, the folks that you can find it. But it's pretty cool. Like, again, more developer productivity things, like geared specifically for developers. You have the flexibility to pick which model you want to run, whether it's a model that's hosted or a model running locally. There's some pre-built extensions that come with it. I think the ones that I saw were Google Drive, JetBrains like IDEs, GitHub, like a web crawler sort of experience, and then a developer one, which is like that, creating a React app that does whatever. So this is all really cool, and it's just starting. So, I want to call out, like, if you're interested in this space, take a look at the GitHub repo. Like I said, it's all open source. Just as a caveat, like, They didn't ask me to do this. I just came across. I'm like, oh, this is really cool. So anyway, yeah, like if you saw the announcement about Goose and you're excited about it, I'd love to hear your comments down below. Also, hey Isaac, why is this valuable to me? Like maybe I didn't do a good enough job. Like let me know how I can do better. And as always, like and subscribe and share with your friends. And I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Take care.